Hi crafty folks, Amy here, and today I'm going to show you a faux watercolor look that you can achieve with the new Paint Strokes stencil. This is a new stencil from the March 2022 release at A Colorful Life Designs, and I'm super excited about it. I'm going to be using some of these mini Catherine Pooler ink pads, and I have some Bitty Bunny blending brushes. Goodness, it's a mouthful, from the Rabbit Hole Designs, but you'll see I end up using the full-size ones instead. But here's the card that I'm going to make for you, and stick around and I'll show you a bonus card at the end. But basically I'm just using my Make Art station to hold down a card base. It's A2 size, 110 pound cardstock, Nina Classic Crest Solar White. And I have this post-it tape here. I'm just going to kind of mask off the edges of the stencil so I don't get the ink where I don't want it. So I'm just kind of using that to cover off these edges, but I'm using the magnets ultimately to hold the card base and the stencil down. And I picked some colors here that I want to use. Now, initially I was thinking I was going to use these little brushes because the messiness of it, which you'll see here in a moment, actually kind of ends up making it look more watercolor in my opinion. But I realized quickly, especially with these bigger strokes, that it was too much effort to try and fill it in with these little brushes. So you absolutely can. I just sort of lack the patience. So I grabbed my bigger brushes and started blending with those instead. But you'll see those messy little marks and stuff from where I kind of came at it with a little brush, and that's okay. It just kind of adds to the watercolor look of the end design. So I'm just kind of using different strokes from this stencil, and you can also flip the stencil over to kind of use a different end. You could really kind of create a more organic, natural look the more you kind of, flip it around and use it in different ways. So I'm just kind of laying down some colors here. I'm kind of deliberately not trying to get a good blend. You can see I'm kind of leaving splotches. Like I said, I'm doing that on purpose because I want it to look more messy, watercolored when all is said and done. So I'm just kind of working through different colors, and I'm letting it overlap as I go, just to kind of create some additional colors in between where it blends, because that's ultimately what paint would do. Here I'm showing you my finger that I stuck right in the ink pad. The top came off and I just stuck my finger right in there, so yeah, now I had a blue finger, whatever. So I'm just doing this pretty green color here, and I prefer these mini ink pads just for space reasons. Obviously there's full-size ink pads, which those have their place too, but I just get the re-inkers and then stick with the little ones. They work good for me for my craft space. So here you can see I just flipped the stencil over because I wanted to use the other end. And don't be like me. I'm kind of coming at my blending like a lumberjack here, and realize that, oh yeah, there's little bits here, and I kind of just bent them, up in the air, so I had to kind of push them back down. But don't be like me. Just be a little bit more gentle, or use some pixie spray, and then you won't have to worry as much about those little delicate areas, but it's fine. So I have this fun floral stamp set from Concord and Ninth. It's been a favorite of mine lately. I just love the big sentiments, and I love the images on it. So I decided to use that Your Kindness Matters stamp. And initially I'm thinking I just want to do this one little stick-like bloom underneath on the design. But I realize it's not going to be enough. So I get the little cute circles that are part of the stamp, and I know I want to stamp those as well, but I want to keep it kind of monochromatic because I have so much color already in the background. So I just use this kind of dark gray color to add on the little dots onto the little floral here, and I realize that's definitely not enough for the design. So ultimately I end up stamping it all over, and you'll see in a moment I did put that all over. And then I wanted to kind of continue the look on the inside of the card, so I added the pretty scripty thank you from the stamp set on the inside of the card, as well as one more stamping of that little floral with the black and the gray. And I'll show you the finished card here in a moment, but I forgot to take the thank you off, of course. Getting ahead of myself like usual. So I'm just going to stamp this off here on the inside, and I don't often show the inside of my card. Sometimes I finish it off, sometimes I don't, but it's nice to take an element from the front of the card occasionally and kind of bring it onto the inside. Just kind of ties everything together and gives it a little bit more interest on the inside of the card. So I'm just going to stamp that with that gray, and that is a hybrid ink, which it doesn't really need to be. It's just kind of the color that I wanted. So here's the finished card. You can see I stamped it all over the front. I did odd numbers and kind of went off the edge of the composition to kind of give it more interest. And there's the inside, and it's nice and flat, single layer, no bulk, easy to ship. So it's a nice encouragement thank you card. And then this one I did off screen, and I used my label maker here just to kind of give it that little whimsy look. And I actually want to give this to my daughter because nobody colors my world like her, and she's a fantastic artist. So I kind of had her in mind when I made this and put those cool water-like blingage on there. So just a couple examples of ways that you can use this new stencil. This is one of many awesome new stencils from this March release, so be sure to check out the rest. I will link all the products that I used in the video description box below. If you expand and scroll down, and you'll find my coupon there as well to save on your complete order. So I appreciate you watching. Please hit the thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.